Now, an Israeli flag will be flown at Hertsmere Borough Council offices in Boreham Wood today. The area is home to one of the UK's largest Jewish populations. Now, the council says it's concerned to hear about celebrations of the attacks taking place in Bushey over the last couple of days. Now, the leader of the council is Labour councillor Jeremy Newmark, and he's on the line now. Good morning to you.
Morning, Andy.
Thank you for joining us on the show. In your statement on the council website, you refer to celebrations of the attacks taking place in Israel. Can you expand on that for us, please?
That's right, Andy. We had some really sad and unfortunate reports that over the weekend, which actually coincided with a Jewish religious festival, individuals were driving cars through Bushey within our borough, waving Palestinian flags and chanting in support of the murderous, monstrous attacks against Israeli civilians.
Getting police involved? Do you have extra police resources in Hertsmere to cope with this?
The police were fantastic. They deployed extra resources across the borough, and they are in the process of investigating this particular set of incidents.
How is the community dealing with this, Jeremy? I mean, what is Hertsmere Borough Council doing to help those who maybe have...
I think what we're trying to do, Andy, is first and foremost send out a message of reassurance. We know that whenever tensions flare in the Middle East, in Israel and the Palestinian Authority, anti-Semitic attacks against Jews in the UK and in Hertfordshire always increase. On top of that, this time, because of the particular way in which tensions have flared and escalated to levels we've not seen for decades, we've got that layered on top of a feeling and a sense of vulnerability across our Jewish communities. There is almost no Jewish family in the area that hasn't been touched in some way by friends, family, friends of friends, friends of family, who have been affected by these incidents, in some cases deaths, in some cases injuries, and in some cases kidnappings. So there is an acute sense of vulnerability around the borough, which is why, on top of the very close liaison with the police and other law enforcement agencies and the Community Security Trust, we've taken this measure to follow government buildings, to follow City Hall in London, and to follow other landmarks around the world in displaying an Israeli flag in solidarity and lighting up our civic offices in blue and white.
And this is happening from today?
This is happening from last night. From last night
it's happening. If anybody is feeling at risk or feeling concerned about what they're seeing and how they're feeling, can they get in touch with the council in any way?
They can get in touch with the council, they can get in touch with the police, and we will be doing everything we can, firstly, to support those communities, particularly the Jewish community that's affected by this tension, but also, sadly, to recognise and take steps against those people who live in our area, who live in this country, who feel it's appropriate to try and import the tensions of the Middle East and import this conflict onto the streets of the UK. We simply can't allow that to happen.
With the council doing what it's doing, i.e., lighting up the offices with the Israeli flag, is there not a risk that things like that would increase tensions locally?
Our sense is that the vast majority of the local community, the wider local community, are incredibly supportive of the actions we've taken. I have been inundated, as have fellow councillors, with emails, telephone calls, social media contact from people who say this is an issue that transcends politics. This is about supporting humanity against depravity. There'll be a time for politics. There'll be a time for discussion about the intricacies and the ins and outs of the Middle East conflict. But this is about solidarity. This is about supporting people who feel touched and impacted by this wave of terror. And we recognise that over and above those who are affected and impacted in Israel itself, it does affect people within our own community, and it can only be right to do what we can to help address that sense of vulnerability and ensure that everybody feels at ease.
But does that make it more likely that some others will want to show their support for the Palestinian community, and all of that ramps up local tensions, surely, Jeremy.
Well, you know what? I think you'll find that nobody, including members of the Jewish community in our county, have no problem with showing support for the Palestinian community and the Palestinian people, because they recognise that Hamas is in no way representative of the ordinary Palestinian in the street. Palestinian communities here that I've spoken to, we do have a small Palestinian community in Hertsmere, are equally appalled by what's gone on. They feel that by taking these actions, Hamas have put them at risk, because this is about decency, opposition to terror, and support for humanity. And on that, the vast majority of people are on the same page.
Jeremy, I appreciate your time, and thank you for joining me on the show this morning. That was the leader of the council, which is Labour councillor, Jeremy Newmark there.